ERP and EPM. If you think these are two names for the same thing, stop right there. Because this confusion is costing companies real money, real time, and in some cases, really bad technology decisions. Today, I'm going to end this confusion for good. I have sat in enough finance transformation conversations to know exactly how this confusion plays out. A CFO says we need better planning tools, and someone on the finance team says, don't we already have that in our ERP? And that one sentence can send a company down a 6 month and a six-figure rabbit hole, either buying the wrong system or trying to force the right process into the wrong tool. Here is the simplest way I can say this. Your ERP system records what happened in your business. Your EPM system helps you understand what it means and plan for what comes next. One is your system of record, the other is your system of decision making. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what each one does, the 3 or 4 things that actually separate them, why most companies eventually need both, and how to know which one to prioritize if you're starting from scratch. So let us get into it. Before we go further, I want to be clear about something. This is not a video telling you EPM is better than ERP or ERP is better than EPM. They are not competitors. They are not substitutes for each other. They solve two completely different problems. And once you understand that, the rest of this becomes very simple. Let us start with ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. Despite having the word planning right there in the name, ERP is fundamentally a transaction processing system, not a planning system. Let me repeat that again. ERP is not a planning system. ERP is your system of record. It captures and processes the transactions that keep your business running every single day. Purchasing, accounts payable, order processing and billing, accounts receivable and collections, fixed asset management, treasury and cash management, general ledger accounting. Most ERP systems are built on relational databases designed for one thing: high volume transaction processing. That data gets summarized in the general ledger and used for standard financial reporting. Balance sheets, income statements, cash flow statements, basic variance reporting by department or cost center. That is where most ERP systems stop. And here is the honest limitation that nobody puts on the sales stick. ERP systems are not designed to consolidate results across multiple ERP or general ledger systems. They are not designed to collect and manage budgets across departments. They are not designed to run a rolling forecast process. They are not designed to model scenarios like an acquisition, a reorganization, or entering a new market. And they are not designed for multidimensional analysis across financial and operational data. Organizations that try to force this kind of work into their ERP typically end up doing it in Excel instead. And that introduces version control problems, manual consolidation work, and limited visibility as the business grows. ERP is the engine and it is essential, but it was never built to be the brain. Now let's talk about EPM, Enterprise Performance Management. EPM is built for how finance teams actually plan, analyze, and make decisions. It sits on top of your ERP data and replaces the spreadsheets that most finance teams are still using for budgeting, forecasting, consolidation, and reporting. And I want to be precise here. EPM is a complementary category to ERP. It is not a replacement. Its entire purpose is to provide a structured, centralized environment for the processes that ERP simply does not handle well. Core EPM capabilities include budgeting, planning and forecasting, financial consolidation and reporting, management reporting and analytics, scenario modeling and long-range planning. Let me make this concrete with planning and forecasting. In an EPM system, finance can define business rules and calculations centrally, while departments work within tailored templates. When data is submitted, it flows into a centralized system, eliminating the manual consolidation across a dozen different spreadsheets that every FP&A team knows too well. Budgets can be seeded with actuals from ERP and pushed back once finalized. The result is faster planning cycles with far greater consistency and control. Next, let's talk about financial consolidation. EPM systems bring together financial data from one or more general ledgers and handle the genuinely complex stuff that is nearly impossible to manage manually. Currency translation, intercompany eliminations, reporting across multiple accounting standards like US GAAP or IFRS. Finally, talking about scenario modeling. EPM lets finance model the impact of a decision before it happens, combining financial and operational data to run scenario analysis across drivers like headcount, revenue, or cost structure. That is, finance moving from reporting on the past to actively shaping what comes next. If ERP is the engine, EPM is the navigation system. It tells you where you are going and what happens if you turn left instead of right. So here is the one-line version I want you to remember because everything else in this video builds on it. Your ERP system records what happened. Your EPM system helps you understand what it means and plan for what comes next. ERP is optimized for transaction accuracy. EPM is optimized for decision making. And when you try to make one system do both jobs, which is exactly what happens when companies rely purely on ERP, spreadsheets fill the gap. every single time. Now let me walk you through the specific differences that actually matter when you are deciding how to invest in these systems. First, focus area. ERP is built to integrate and automate daily operation functions across the business: inventory, order processing, HR, manufacturing. EPM is built to guide forward-looking performance and strategy using historical and operational data from ERP and other sources to forecast, budget, and analyze outcomes. Second, implementation timeline. ERP implementations are typically longer and more complex because they touch nearly every function in the business: finance, HR, supply chain, manufacturing. That means more customization, more data migration, more change management. EPM implementations are usually faster and require less IT involvement, which is exactly why many growing companies adopt EPM before they even touch their ERP. Third, operating scope. EPM users are typically finance professionals and executive leadership, taking a bird's eye view of performance and strategic decisions. ERP users span the entire organization: finance, manufacturing, HR, sales, accessing the system daily to execute core business processes. Fourth, complexity. ERP complexity comes from the sheer breadth of integration across the business. EPM complexity comes from a different place: sophisticated analytics that need to draw from diverse data sources for accurate forecasting. And fifth, reporting scope. ERP gives you detailed transactional reports: sales performance, inventory levels, AP and AR status. EPM gives you strategic reports, scenario models, consolidated financials across subsidiaries, budgets, and long range plans. ERP's operational reports are crucial for managing the present. EPM's strategic reports are designed to navigate the future. Neither one replaces the other. They both complement each other. So here is the part that most vendors will not tell you. Most growing companies eventually need both. In most organizations, ERP comes first. You need a system to manage accounting and operations before you need one for planning. Spreadsheets fill the gap early on, and for a while that works fine. But as complexity increases, that approach starts to break down in very predictable ways. Version control becomes a nightmare. Nobody knows which version of the forecast is the real one. Consolidation takes too long. Closing the books across multiple entities becomes a manual, error-prone slog. Scenario modeling becomes limited or practically impossible because Excel was never built to run 5 what-if scenarios across a multi-entity business. That is exactly the gap EPM is built to close. ERP remains the source of transactional truth. EPM uses that data to support planning, modeling, and reporting. And here is something genuinely useful. EPM systems are designed to integrate with multiple data sources, not just a single ERP. HR systems, sales systems, other operational tools alongside the general ledger. Because EPM sits above the transaction layer, it also gives you flexibility. Organizations can upgrade or even completely replace their ERP without disrupting their planning and reporting processes. That last point matters more than people realize. If you are planning an ERP transition or a migration, implementing EPM first can actually help you maintain continuity through that switch. So your planning and reporting keeps running smoothly even while the transaction system underneath is changing. Let me leave you with 3 things to actually remember from this video. First, ERP and EPM solve different problems. Your ERP system is built for transaction accuracy. Your EPM system is built for planning, analysis, and decision support. Trying to use one to do the job of both is exactly where the spreadsheets take over. Second, EPM does not replace your ERP, it completes it. EPM sits on top of your existing ERP data and adds the planning, consolidation, and modeling layer that your finance team actually needs to do its job well. Third, the right foundation scales with you. As your business grows in size and complexity, manual workarounds stop working. A purpose-built EPM solution gives finance the speed, accuracy, and visibility to keep pace with that growth. Here is your homework, and I want you to actually think about this. Look at how your finance team currently plans, budgets, forecasts, and consolidates. Is it happening inside your ERP? Is it happening across a dozen spreadsheets that someone manually stitches together every month end? Or do you already have a dedicated EPM layer doing this properly? If the answer is spreadsheets, that is not a personal failure. It is simply a sign that your business has outgrown the tools it started with, and that is completely normal. It is also exactly the moment to start seriously evaluating EPM. Do not wait until close takes 5 extra days every quarter. Do not wait until a board member asks for a scenario analysis you cannot produce in time. The gap between what ERP gives you and what your finance team actually needs to do, that gap is closable, but only once you know where it is. Now, if you're actually in the process of figuring out which EPM tools might be right for your business, or you just want to see what is out there without going through dozens of vendor sales calls, go check out fpnatools.com. It is an independent FP&A software directory built specifically for CFOs and FP&A leaders. The easiest way to compare different tools that exist in the EPM space. The link is in the description below. Go take a look. And drop me a comment right now Is your finance team currently running planning and forecasting through your ERP, through spreadsheets, or do you already have a proper EPM system in place? I genuinely want to know where everyone stands, and I read every single comment. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.